Hi everyone, can everyone make sure that there is speech that is available on it? Because we have to make sure that we're social distancing. And this just because we're allowed to do this in person, but obviously we've got to follow the rules, so yeah.
And I think we can get started here in a minute. We put those pictures up to give you all jealousy and all think so that you're all thinking really hard about how much you want to study abroad. I think just in case you weren't already thinking of that. So we've determined today is officially Study Abroad Day. And if you have not already filled out the survey, please take your QR code. This is for attendance. Again, this is a COVID thing for contact tracing, etc. So if you haven't done it yet, hold up your phone, please, and take care of this for contact tracing. Gracias, thank you. So I am Professor Slaughter, I am a Spanish professor, and I'm also director of off-campus programs. As you can imagine, this past year has been rather odd as a director of off-campus programs. Not a lot of off-campus programs to direct, but we are very excited about moving forward next year. Next year, we have planned one program in the fall, Hungary, and we're hoping for 4 programs in the spring, Britain, Spain, Honduras, and DC. After that, we're also right now accepting proposals from faculty for summer programs for summer 2022, and those are due this week from faculty. So I'm starting to see those come in, and it's exciting to see the opportunities that we're going to be having then. We won't get to talk about that yet today, but we're looking forward to that in the future. So I think slowly but surely we're returning to something like normal, and we can start sending students abroad. Today we got different people who are going to be talking to us about different aspects of study abroad. And I'd like to start with Dr. Champion. She is the doctor here at Calvin. And did you know that today is National Doctor Day? So we all have to thank Laura, the doctor on National Doctor Day. She's Director of Health Services here, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about how to travel safely in times of COVID.
Great. I'm going to just stand right here. Is this microphone on?
I think, can you all hear? You want it on?
No, I don't need it on. I just didn't know if there were virtual people. Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Champion, and welcome. I have to tell you that travel abroad has a positive, very positive place in my heart. And I actually signed up for alerts from the State Department because we have students that travel before COVID to over 40 countries. If you think about, they go to one country and then they do an excursion to another country. And so I was monitoring this, and on January 23rd last year, I got an alert about a virus in Wuhan, China. And I called Cynthia, or Professor Schlatter, and I called our emergency response team, and I just wanted to know, do we have any kids in China? And we had some, but they were not anywhere near Wuhan. And in my naivety, I thought, well, let's just get ready to think about maybe helping them return safely if this ever went past Wuhan. And I was so naive, because I remember saying to Calvin, it's not going to come to the United States. It's a seasonal cold, and it'll be all gone by March, and we won't really see it in our country. And that changed drastically over the next few weeks. So we worked really hard that year, recognizing that this is a relatively minor virus for most people, but we don't know which person is going to have COVID. So that's where we come in, and if I can talk with you case by case, I'm happy to do that. We have a travel vaccine clinic in our department. And in previous years, we expected students to come in for a travel appointment to get their vaccines updated and learn how to travel safely. For countries, we put them in layers, tier 1, 2, and 3. And tier 2 and 3 had a higher vector risk. So that means like a mosquito vector with chikungunya or dengue or those things. But this year, because of the individual risk factors to each person based on your health history and your immune status, we're actually going to be doing it for our level 1 countries also. So you'll get to speak one-on-one with the nurse or with a provider about your situation. So I'm going to tell you just for the next few minutes some things I would like you to consider as you're planning or dreaming about doing a semester abroad in the fall or a May interim or summer experience, so you can start planning for that. So first of all, if you get vaccinated with the COVID vaccine, then your body has been introduced to the virus. And that means that as far as we know, if it acts like all other viruses, and we'll know a lot more by fall even, but as far as we know, you're going to have a milder case of COVID. When we had mumps on our campus, we tested the viral load of people who got mumps who had been vaccinated and people who got mumps who didn't. And the people who got mumps who had been vaccinated were not shedding it. But the people who never got vaccinated for mumps and they got mumps had a very high viral load, and they were very contagious for several days. Some of you seniors in here, or juniors and seniors, might remember those days, but it's a few years back now. So I suspect that this coronavirus variant is going to act very much the same way. And the more literature we get to endorse that theory, then we know that this is going to be sort of a nuisance virus for most people. Now, if you have asthma or diabetes or immune compromised for another reason, then that's all the more reason to get vaccinated, because you're protecting your immune system, because you're helping it recognize the virus before you ever get it. And then you get to have antibodies to protect you, and you'll be like that mumps case that already got vaccinated. Now, when you go to another country, we have two groups, and I've seen it for 10 years. There's one group that's going to feel like they're a little nervous, get on a plane, be around strangers. We're going to countries where they don't have access to vaccine at the same rate that we have. And I want to help you think about this. I want to create a narrative to kind of help that group. First of all, if you are vaccinated, we think of ourselves at Calvin like global citizens. That's part of our mission statement. And you're being responsible by protecting yourself and protecting others. And you've already proven to us as a group. I know individuals vary in their behavior, mood, or complacency. But in general, our Calvin students have done phenomenal at trying to be responsible kind of citizens in our community, and we get to carry that over into our travel. So we're going to make sure you have all that information to know how to travel safely, what to do if you got sick and needed to get tested, what to do if you did get COVID while you were in another country, or what if somebody in the host house that you're staying with gets COVID. We'll talk you through all of those things and make sure you have a real clear understanding as to how that would look. I'm going to talk to the group of you who might be on the other side of it. And I know I'm Dr. Champion, and I know I'm in charge of a lot of public health decisions on Calvin. And I hope you've seen that our team has tried really hard to be practical, despite some of the scare going on about this. But I want you to know that I'm very eager for you to travel. So there might be a day where I might feel a little complacent and just sick of my mask, and I want to just live my life. I've been vaccinated, what the heck? But at the same time, I recognize that I'm talking to thousands of students who are struggling with the same thing, and they don't have all the medical information in their head that I have. So I'm going to talk to those of you who are so sick of this, okay? Because we still have to be careful. It's not done yet, but you still have to be careful. We can, and we've proven to Kent County and to Michigan and beyond that Calvin knows how to plan events and experiences safely. So we're going to do everything we can, but if you end up at in the Hungry program and you're on their college campus and there's a rager on Saturday night with 80 people or 200 people there, and they haven't been vaccinated, you are putting your host family or your housemates at risk if you bring that germ back to you. So I want you to pay attention to what choices you want to have and what you want your experience to be like, and we're going to help you do that safely. But I want you to heed caution still, because we're ahead of other countries when it comes to our mass vaccination. Here in Kent County, we have vaccinated about 65% of our over 65-year-old people. That's amazing. We have vaccinated 20% of our entire county, but that's unheard of in other places in the world. So by fall or by next spring, there are still going to be countries very, very behind on the vaccine program. So I just want you to hear that part of it. Those were the big things. I have a list. I made a little PowerPoint. If you QR code that and save it on your phone as one of your home screen pages, that's up to date as far as today. And I put the date in there. The CDC for travel abroad and travel advice, they actually update that. I'm watching it get updated about every 3 or 4 weeks. And they'll tell you about mask wearing on the plane. They'll talk to you about sort of testing times. There are countries that are going to be requiring COVID testing prior to arrival. There may be recommendation changes about testing post travel or some kind of self-isolation or confinement, I like to use the term self-monitoring. So if you've been vaccinated, but someone around you got COVID, we don't put you in quarantine right now, but we call it self-monitoring. So you check your temperature twice a day, you watch for symptoms. If you think you just started your spring allergies, but they're acting totally different than all your other spring allergies, it might be COVID and you should get tested. But we want you to live your life post-vaccine. So we are, with the help of CDC and Kent County, have made that change. But I want you to know that this is the best link. And if you keep it on your home screen and then click it, 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 12 weeks from now, it gets updated. So you'll have the latest information on travel safety also. Do I ask questions now or just keep going?
No, thank you, but I saw only a few of you, right? Put your screen with your phones up. I think you all want to get the QR code. Yeah. Everybody should get the QR code on there.
Yeah, just save it as a home screen page. Good.
Since I know you can't stay too long, any questions specifically for Dr. Champion? She has to see more people. Otherwise, we will email you later on with that list.
Right. Oh, I was going to say, the students that are signed up to travel this fall, you're going to be, we're going to get a list from Professor Getz, and you're going to be invited to get vaccine at a little bit higher priority because some of you are going home for the summer, and we want you to have your vaccine prior to going on that trip. So we'll make it available to you. There is a caveat. If you need Hep A or some other vaccine that's required for the trip, they have to be at least 2 weeks apart. So we're going to help you coordinate all that. But when you call us, when you get invited, you just make both appointments at the same time. One on this day for COVID and one on 2 weeks later for the next one. And we'll help you figure out what that is. You'll get an email from us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Champion.
Hey.
Now, this is the other big question everybody has. Can I afford it? Mrs. Ellenboss, I saw you walk in. Can you please tell us, how can we afford to study abroad?
Otherwise, I'll just talk through it. Maybe I'll just talk through it. My name is Paula Ellenboss, and I work in financial aid at Calvin. Maybe I've met with some of you. If I haven't, I'm happy to anytime. So as a Calvin student, you likely have a financial aid award or a package that you can use to go off campus on a Calvin program. Calvin programs include the ones that are planned through the off-campus programs department, like the Hungary semester this fall, semester in Spain, all the programs that Calvin plans. You can use 100% of your Calvin financial aid to go on that program. So we're not going to reduce your financial aid as long as you're going on a Calvin planned program. Any questions about that? All right. So there's other types of semesters. There are semesters that are with Calvin partner programs. Calvin partner programs include the Japan semester, which is through JCMU, and the Chicago semester. And you can keep 100% of your Calvin financial aid for those semesters. You also keep 100% of any federal or state aid that you have for those semesters. So your aid stays the same if you're going on the Japan semester or the Chicago semester. You can use your Calvin financial aid 100%. Then there's other types of off-campus programs. Non-Calvin programs are not connected to those programs. In the past, that's included the CCCU semesters, which there still will be an Oxford semester and probably a couple others. And other programs that go through other schools or other organizations. And you can apply through Horizons, I believe, to take some of your Calvin financial aid to help pay for that semester when you are going abroad through another program that is not a Calvin program. You apply for that program, you tell us all that we need to know about what the program is going to cost. And then I work with Cynthia in the off-campus programs, and we figure out, first of all, is this a viable program? There's some programs out there that aren't very academic and are probably more of a tourism semester or a fun semester than an academic semester. So that's a decision that really the off-campus program department makes as a more academic department. And then we also look at, is this a program where it makes sense for you to use some of your Calvin financial aid? And we will tell you exactly what you can use. Typically, if we accept you into that, you get 50% of your Calvin aid and 100% of non-Calvin aid, meaning state and federal aid, and any student loans you can also use. You also pay Calvin tuition. So if you're looking at a program that's significantly less than Calvin and you want to use your Calvin aid, know that you're going to pay the cost of Calvin tuition for that semester, minus your Calvin aid. Sometimes it makes more sense just to go through the other organization. Sometimes it makes, most of the time, I would say it's cheaper for you to pay Calvin tuition and get a portion of your financial aid than it is to go through the other organization and not get any aid. But we always figure that out for you once we know the numbers from you about what that program is going to cost. Any questions about that? All right. I'm not sure what we're calling our former interim programs. Are they intensives?
Our summer programs.
Our summer programs, we will have scholarships for those if they're run through Calvin. We have, it's 10 or 11 different scholarships, and several of those have more than one scholarship within them that can be used for off-campus programs. They may be $500. There's one right now, there's two right now that you can apply for the Hungry program. One is $4,300 and I think has 3 scholarships. One is $5,000 and has 2 scholarships. We've had 3 students apply for those. So that deadline is April 2, and that is for the fall program for Hungary. And then we will have other scholarships available for the spring off-campus semesters. You apply for those through Academic Works like you apply for other scholarships. And we put it in student news many times. I always let the program directors know so that they can let the students on their roster know about what's out there. But know that there are scholarships available for programs that are planned by Calvin. Any other questions? All right. The last thing is every individual program is different. Everyone's financial aid is different. I am so happy to meet with anyone who wants to talk about the program they're looking at and the costs and what their aid is going to look like. And I'll give you a spreadsheet of what it's going to look like. We won't have you sign off on anything until you know what your aid and your cost is going to look like. So know that you can stop by or email me. My email's super easy. It's paula@calvin.edu. And stop by and see me. I'd love to talk about what you're looking to do. Thanks.
So we know you can do it. You can study abroad, but is it worth it? Can it help? We've got people from Career Services who are going to give us a lowdown on that.
Perfect, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Laura Casler, and I am going to be the one talking to you all today kind of about how studying abroad can have an impact on your career. I don't have too much time, so I kind of want to just jump right into it. Just a little bit of an overview of what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about some of those transferable skills that are going to be really great for you when you start applying for jobs and looking for jobs. Different career competencies that are going to be really important and that you can gain through your study abroad experience. And then I also have some factual data on reported skill development from study abroad. So we'll be touching on that a little bit. And then finally, just how you can stand out as a candidate, you know, through the interview process from studying abroad. And coming from somebody who did study abroad twice, I will say that it really did have a great impact on my career development and helped me kind of find the path that I wanted to go on. And so I think anybody who's really contemplating that, hopefully this can give you some insight and it can really showcase how well it will impact your career development. So I kind of want to just start off with a quote from someone named Jason. He said that international experiences develop skills in students that greatly prepare them for jobs and internships
most of which can be directly correlated to NACE's career competencies. And so that was coming from somebody who is the director of employer relations and a career coach at Cornell College. And so we're going to kind of jump in. He talks about NACE's career key competencies, and NACE stands for the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And so some of their competencies are all of these. So it's critical thinking and problem solving, oral and written communication, teamwork, collaboration, digital technology, leadership, professionalism, work ethic, career management, and then lastly, global and intercultural fluency. And so, I mean, looking through this entire list, I can almost argue that every single one of these things will be directly impacted through your time studying abroad. And these are all things that, you know, this organization talks about as a competency in your career development. So, you know, that critical thinking and problem solving, I can assure you if you're in a new place, you're trying to get around somewhere that you've never been before, that's really going to require you to do that critical thinking and problem solving. And that's something that you can talk about in a job interview, or you can talk about on your resume. Oral and written communication, you know, if there's language barriers or if you're trying to kind of figure out how to communicate with somebody with more verbal cues and stuff like that, that will definitely be developed through your time studying abroad. Teamwork and collaboration, especially if you're going, you know, with a class or a group of people, you're going to have to work together to kind of figure out how to get from point A to point B. Digital technology looks different all around the world. And so, you know, kind of getting exposure to different places and different ways technology is used. You know, leadership, the list goes on, essentially. You can put all of this stuff on your resume. These are all things that you can really sell yourself when you're doing an interview. And kind of transitioning into the next part. These are some factual evidence of skill development that a survey was conducted. And it talks about, you know, the intrapersonal competencies and cognitive competencies. And so if there's any blue anywhere, to at least some degree, these skills were developed on a study abroad experience. So, you know, those intercultural skills, flexibility, adaptability, self-awareness, tolerance for ambiguity, work ethic, all of those things somewhat impacted. Same thing with curiosity, confidence, problem solving, language skills, course major knowledge, maybe not so much technical and software skills on this particular study, but still, I mean, all of these things are things that you can really sell yourself and talk about in an interview. And so landing a job, there was another survey that was completed that talked about how more than 78% of people talked about their study abroad experience in a job interview. This is something that you can really use to sell yourself. And then around 53% of people said their study abroad experience that helped them secure a job offer. So this will make you stand out. This will make you be different than other people. And if you ever need help with trying to figure out how to sell yourself, you want to meet with a career coach, please feel free to come talk to us, you know, over in the Career Center. We do things like resume critiques, job internship searching, practice interviews. You know, if you want to figure out how to add a study abroad experience to your resume or how to talk about that in an interview, feel free to go on the Handshake and we can meet with you about that. But like I said, as somebody who did study abroad, all of these things, you'll be challenged and you'll gain experiences that won't really happen anywhere else. And so if you have that opportunity, especially on a career aspect, I know I would suggest it in the rest of the Career Center. So does anybody have any questions about that? Cool. Go ahead. Thank you all.
Where did you study abroad?
So I went to Italy and then I also went to Costa Rica. So two different areas, but yeah. Yes, thank you so much.
So you guys don't have general questions, it sounds like. I have a feeling that you're more interested in the specific programs that we have. So I would like to introduce our program directors for next year. If you could just at least stand up and wave. So that way, later on, we're going to have, in a few minutes, we're going to have individual sessions with these program instructors. So you'll know who to follow out of the room to find out more about it. So for our semester in Hungary, in Budapest, Hungary, Professor Peggy Getz is going to be leading that one, Peggy Getz. And for our program in Spain, in Oviedo, Spain, it's Professor Tenhusen over there. Get it again. For our program in Britain, Professor Engbers. Hooray! And for our program in Washington, D.C., Professor Helder. So those are the programs we're going to run next year. If you want information about those programs, those are the specific professors that you're going to want to talk to. Oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot Maria. Professor Rodriguez from Honduras, for the program in Honduras. Thank you, sorry about that. So the program directors, we'll have an informational session with them, and as well, we are going to have former students from these programs in those rooms, and they can give you the students' perspective on study abroad. We old folks, we know what we like about it, but you can also talk to the students about that. Also, if you generally have questions about off-campus programs, the off-campus programs email is off-campus@calvin.edu. I try to monitor that as much as possible and answer your questions. I am quite hopeful that next year we'll be back to almost normal as far as study abroad. And so I look forward to having many of you come through our office and on your way to bigger adventures elsewhere. We are finished earlier than I expected. If you have general questions, one last chance. Otherwise, I will ask the instructors to lead your groups out to different places to study. Any general questions? Thank you very much for your attention.